I never thought I'd be telling this story, but here I am. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. I'm Jake Thompson, and this is how my perfect relationship blew up in my face. 2 years ago, I made a decision that changed my life. Instead of following the crowd to college, I chose trade school. Best decision I ever made. Now I'm a certified welder making good money, and I'm about to level up to underwater welding. Fun fact, I used to be on the high school swim team. Not that it helps much with diving certifications, but hey, at least I'm comfortable in the water. I've got solid prospects lined up too, thanks to my dad's connections in the industry. His best friend and cousin are both underwater welders, and they're ready to help me break into the field. Virginia's calling my name, and I'm answering. But before I tell you about where I'm headed, let me tell you about where I've been. This story really starts with Ashley Martinez. God, she was beautiful. The kind of beautiful that makes you forget how to speak when you first see her. Dark hair, perfect smile, and these eyes that could make you promise her anything. We met at a friend's barbecue in early 2022. She was wearing this white sundress, sitting alone by the pool. I remember thinking she looked out of place, like a magazine cover model at a backyard party. When I sat down next to her, I expected to get the cold shoulder. Instead, she started asking me questions about my work. Most girls' eyes glaze over when I talk about welding. Not Ashley's. She leaned in closer, genuinely interested. That sounds fascinating, she said. Tell me more about the underwater welding part. So I did. I told her about my plans, my goals, the money I could make. She thought it was sexy that I had my life figured out. Her words, not mine. We exchanged numbers that night. By the end of the week, we were dating. Everything was perfect in the beginning. I was making decent money at the structural iron and steel company. Not top dollar like the veterans, but $48,000 a year isn't bad for a guy in his mid-20s. Ashley was still living with her parents then. She had this dream of opening her own nail salon. Wanted to offer everything: manicures, pedicures, eyelash extensions, the works. It wasn't my thing, but I supported her. That's what you do when you care about someone, right? 3 months in, she started pushing to move in together. It'll prove we're exclusive, she said. Show that we're serious. I thought it was too soon. Told her we should keep our own spaces for a while. She just stared at me and asked, "Don't you like me?" That should have been my first red flag. But when you're in love, red flags just look like flags. The thing about Ashley was she had this complicated relationship with her parents. They were the kind of people who measured success by degrees on the wall. Her dad was a psychiatrist, mom was some big shot out of college. They'd saved up over $200,000 for her education. But Ashley didn't want to go to college. Man, if someone had offered to pay for my education like that, I'd have jumped at the chance. Medical school, law school, whatever they wanted. But not Ashley. She wanted the money for herself. When her parents refused and used the money for traveling instead, she lost it. Started talking about suing them. Called it her money. I sided with her back then, mostly because her parents looked down on me. Trade school wasn't good enough for their precious daughter. Never mind that I was debt-free and building a solid career. 8 months into our relationship, Ashley moved in with me. She'd been practically living at my place anyway. Always there when I got home from work, cooking dinner, keeping the place clean. She even helped with bills, which wasn't much since I covered the rent. She was good about saving energy too. Always unplugging everything when it wasn't in use. Said that's how her parents raised her. Funny thing is, for all their money, her parents were pretty frugal. Drove old cars, rarely ate out. Maybe that's why Ashley loved restaurants so much. It was like she was making up for lost time. Life was good. We had our routine. I'd work, study for my certifications. She'd take care of the apartment. We were happy. Or at least, I thought we were. Then came that day at the park. The day everything changed. We were sitting on our usual bench. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange. Ashley was quieter than usual. Then she dropped the bomb. "I think we should try something different," she said. I remember the way she wouldn't look at me, how her fingers kept playing with the hem of her shirt. "We're too young to settle down," she continued. "I love you, and I don't want to leave you." That's when I knew something bad was coming. Nothing good ever follows that kind of setup. "But I think we should see other people." I just sat there stunned. "We'll still be together," she rushed to add. "If I'm going to marry anyone, it'll be you. But right now, I think we should explore our options. It'll bring us closer together." I didn't believe a word of it, but I didn't say that. Instead, I asked her why she wanted an open relationship, why what we had wasn't enough. She kept insisting it would be good for both of us, that I had nothing to worry about. That's when I knew there was already someone else. I could see it in the way her eyes lit up when I finally agreed. That night, while she was sleeping, I did something I'm not proud of. I checked her laptop. Her phone was locked, but I knew her computer password. Facebook was already open, and there he was, the reason for everything. Some guy from her high school. Tattoos everywhere, arms, neck, you name it. Riding a motorcycle in his profile picture. Real subtle, right? The messages made me sick. FLI, rooting back and forth. Plans to meet up. Pictures I wish I hadn't seen. This was before she even mentioned opening our relationship. She'd been planning to cheat all along. The open relationship was just her way of making it okay. That's when something in me changed. I didn't confront her, didn't tell her what I knew. Instead, I made a plan. If she wanted to play games, I could play too. The next morning, I was all smiles. "You're right," I told her. "This will be good for both of us." She smiled back, completely clueless about what was coming. That same day, I started talking to Emma at Starbucks. She'd been flirting with me for months. I'd always kept it professional before, but now things were different. I pulled up to the drive-through window. Emma was there with her usual, "Hey, handsome." This time, I wrote down my number. "Call me," I said. Her face lit up like Christmas morning. I was completely honest with Emma. Told her about Ashley, about the open relationship, about how I was really just looking for something real. Emma understood, so we could take it slow, see where things went. Ashley noticed the change in me right away. She'd hear me talking to Emma on the phone. At first, she played it cool, but then the questions started. "What were you two talking about? Why were you discussing travel plans? That's not what this is supposed to be about." Meanwhile, she was in the other room, probably texting Tattoo Boy, telling me she wasn't much of a phone person. Right. Our lease was coming up for renewal. Ashley kept asking about it. "Are we going to renew? Should we look for a bigger place?" I just kept telling her not to worry about it, that I'd take care of everything. What she didn't know was that I already had a new apartment lined up, and movers scheduled for when she'd be away on her trip with her cousins. So might call it cold. Maybe it was. But after finding those messages, after seeing how she'd planned everything, I couldn't bring myself to care anymore. The girl I fell in love with at that barbecue, she was gone. Maybe she never really existed. So I waited, watched as her thing with Tattoo Boy apparently fell apart. Suddenly, she wanted to close our relationship again. Said I was getting too close to Emma. Asked me what happened to my fling. I wanted to laugh, to tell her I knew everything. But I didn't. I just waited for her vacation to start. The last piece of my plan was about to fall into place. The day Ashley left for her trip, everything changed. I sat her down before she left. Told her we were done. She didn't believe me. Thought I was joking or playing some game. The whole time she was gone, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls, texts, FaceTime, nonstop. I could hear her cousins in the background. "Put your phone down, we're on vacation." But Ashley was relentless. I kept texting back that we were over. Didn't want to. Do it over FaceTime, not with her family around. But my messages were clear. This was the end. While she was gone, I put my plan into action. The movers came exactly as scheduled. I had all her stuff packed up and sent to her parents' house. Her dad just opened the garage without a word. Didn't ask questions. Just watched as we unloaded everything. Maybe he knew this was coming. Maybe he just didn't care. My stuff went to the new apartment across town. Every time Ashley FaceTimed, I made sure to be in my car. Didn't want her seeing empty walls behind me. Didn't want to give away the game too soon. I returned the key to the front office. Got the place cleaned. Set up my deposit refund. Everything was perfect. Professional. Clean. When she texted that they were heading to the airport, I blocked her. Everywhere. Phone, social media, email, everything. Some guys might have wanted to watch the fallout, see her beg and plead. But I didn't care about that anymore. I just wanted it done. Things with Emma were good for a while. Different from Ashley. Simpler. No drama, no games. Just two people enjoying each other's company. But sometimes good things don't last. She started pulling away. I never found out why. Maybe she met someone else. Maybe the whole situation was too complicated. I didn't chase after her. Just let it fade naturally. Even stopped going to that Starbucks. No point making things awkward. I threw myself into work instead, focused on my certifications, on becoming an underwater welder. That's when things got weird. One morning, I walked out to my car. Something looked off. It was leaning to one side. Flat tire, I thought. But this wasn't just any flat. There was a butcher knife on the ground, a deep gash in the rubber. Someone had stabbed my tire. At first, I thought it was just random vandalism. Some kids causing trouble. There was no way Ashley could have found my new place. Right? That same day, the Facebook requests started. Profile after profile. All gorgeous women. All with barely any friends. I declined them all. Blocked them one by one. Then they stopped as suddenly as they started. I got my tire changed. Asked around about security cameras. There weren't any. My neighbors were sympathetic. Are you sure you don't have a crazy ex? That's when I got another friend request. This time from Ashley. New account. Only 17 friends. Against my better judgment, I accepted. Wanted to know what she was up to. Did you slash my tire? I messaged her. No response. Is this you? Why aren't you answering? She was reading the messages. I could see that. But instead of responding, she started posting. That's when things really went off the rails. She claimed I had abused her. Said I forced her into the open relationship. Posted about a fake miscarriage. Even had Photoshop pictures. Bruises that weren't real. Injuries that never happened. But nobody was buying it. Even her own friends called her out. This doesn't even look real. Girl, you're acting crazy. What's with the new Facebook? People started messaging me, asking what was going on, what all this nonsense was about. I just deleted her again. Blocked the new account. She'd lost her mind. Gone completely off the deep end. All because I left her. I've thought about that day a lot. When she came back from vacation. Walking into an empty apartment. Finding out all her stuff was at her parents'. Must have been quite a shock. Part of me wishes I could have seen it. But mostly I'm glad I didn't. Some people might say I was too harsh. That I should have confronted her about the messages. About Tattoo Boy. About all of it. But what would that have changed? She was already planning to cheat. Already sending pictures to another guy. Already making plans behind my back. The open relationship was just her way of making it okay. Of not feeling guilty. I never got proof she slashed my tire. Never reported the knife to the police. What would they have done anyway? Dust for prints? File a report that would go nowhere? It wasn't worth the hassle. Besides, it never happened again. I still park in the same spot. She hasn't shown up since. These days, I'm just focused on moving forward. On my career. On becoming the best underwater welder I can be. The money's good. The work is challenging. And most importantly, it's all about me. No drama. No games. No relationships. Unless it's just for fun. I'm done with the whole marriage thing. Done thinking there's some perfect person out there. Some unicorn waiting to be found. It's all a waste of time. You can spend years with someone. Think you know them. Think they're different. Special. Then one day they just flip on you. Become someone else entirely. Why bother? Better to invest in yourself. In your career. Your health. Your future. That's the only investment that always pays off. Looking back, it's almost funny how she came into my life, acting like she loved everything about me. My ambition, my career goals, all those things she said were so attractive. Then as soon as something shinier came along, some tattooed bad boy from her past, suddenly none of that mattered anymore. People will tell you that's just how life is, that people have the right to change their minds. And maybe they do, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. That doesn't make it right. So here's my advice. For whatever it's worth, focus on yourself. Build your career. Chase your dreams. The rest will either follow or it won't. Either way, you'll be better off, because at the end of the day, the only person you can really count on is yourself. I've learned a lot since everything went down with Ashley. About people, about relationships, about myself. The biggest lesson? Trust your gut. When Ashley first suggested the open relationship, my stomach turned. I knew something was wrong. I just didn't want to admit it. That's the thing about red flags. They're a lot easier to see in the rearview mirror. Like how she rushed to move in together, how she couldn't handle being told no, how she blamed everyone else for her problems, her parents for not giving her their money, the world for not understanding her dreams, me for not being enough, even though I gave her everything. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd said no to the open relationship, if I confronted her about the messages, about Tattoo Boy. But then I remember something my dad always says. Don't waste time on what ifs. He's right. The past is the past. You can't change it. You can only learn from it. And man, have I learned. The underwater welding certification is going great. I'm top of my class at the diving academy. Turns out all those years on the swim team weren't wasted after all. The instructors say I have a natural feel for it, for working underwater, for staying calm under pressure. Literally and figuratively, the money's already better than before. $59,000 a year now. And once I'm fully certified, sky's the limit. Or should I say ocean's the limit. Some guys in the field are pulling in $85,000 or more. With experience, you can go even higher. Plus, there's always work, always demand. It's not like some office job that can be outsourced. You need skilled hands. Real experience. Can't fake that. My dad's friend says I'll have my pick of jobs. East Coast, West Coast, Gulf of Mexico. Even international work if I want it. Oil rigs, bridges, ships. The world needs underwater welders. And there aren't many of us. It's funny how things work out. While Ashley's still probably trying to figure out her life, still dreaming about that nail salon, I'm building something real. Something solid, like the welds I make every day. Strong, dependable, built to last. The guys at work have their own Ashley stories. Different names, same pattern. One guy's wife left him for her yoga instructor. Another's girlfriend ran off with her high school sweetheart, just like Ashley tried to do. They all say the same thing. Focus on yourself. Build your empire. The right person will come along. Maybe they're right about that last part. Maybe they're not. I'm not counting on it either way. These days, I keep things simple. Work hard. Study harder. Hit the gym. Save my money. No drama. No complications. No trying to prove myself to someone else's parents. No trying to be something I'm not. Just me. Building my future. One day at a time. One weld at a time. The other guys at the diving academy get it. They're like me, focused, driven, no time for games. We're all chasing something bigger than ourselves, something real. When you're 30 feet underwater, working with hot metal, in near zero visibility, UCA, and fake it, you either know what you're doing, or you don't. There's no middle ground, no gray area, just like there's no gray area in trust. You either have it, or you don't. Ashley taught me that. The hard way, but sometimes the hard lessons are the ones that stick. I still see her posts sometimes, through mutual friends. She's deleted all the fake abuse claims, taken down the Photoshop pictures, gone back to posting about her journey, whatever that means. Last I heard, she's still living with her parents, still talking about that nail salon, still waiting for someone else to make her dreams come true. Meanwhile, I'm making mine happen. Every single day. The certification's almost done. Virginia's calling. New job lined up. New city. New start. Some people might say I'm running away. But I'm not. I'm running towards something. Something better. Something real. The guys at work threw me a going away party last week. Nothing fancy. Just beers after work. But it meant something. These guys have seen me grow. From apprentice to journeyman. From broken-hearted to focused. From lost to found. One of the old-timers pulled me aside. "You're gonna do great, kid," he said. "You've got the right attitude. The right mindset. You understand what matters." And I do. I understand now that sometimes the best things in life come from the worst experiences. That sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself. That sometimes the people who hurt you end up helping you in ways they never intended. Ashley wanted to break me with her lies, her games, her fake pictures, and false accusations. Instead, she made me stronger, more focused, more determined. So in a way, I should thank her. But I won't, because that's not my story anymore. That's not my life. My life is underwater now, in the deep, where things are quiet, where the only thing that matters is the work in front of you, the weld you're making, the job you're doing, everything else, all the drama, all the games, all the lies. They stay on the surface, where they belong. And me? I'm going deeper, every single day, building something that will last, something real, something true, something mine.